Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. This time, we're diving into something pretty small.
Literally.
Yeah, really tiny.
Yeah,
Apple's brand new 2024 Mac Mini.
that's right.
It's so small.
Yeah.
It's like they took, a powerhouse PC, shrunk it down, and just slapped an Apple logo on it.
Yeah, and it's causing quite a stir online.
For good reason.
People are excited.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that excitement stems from, this being kind of an affordable entry point into the Apple Silicon world.
Yeah, you're looking at $599 to start.
That's right.
For that base model M4 chip.
Yep.
Which is pretty enticing, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get in on the ground floor there. But then, of course, you've got the M4 Pro version.
Yeah. For those who need a little bit more oomph.
Yeah, you want to flex those muscles a little bit.
Exactly.
That one starts at $13,399. That's where it gets a little bit.
Yeah, and that's where you've got to be careful because those upgrades, RAM, SSD, all that stuff, it gets pricey quickly.
Yeah, Apple's notorious for that.
Oh, absolutely.
But all right, let's get into the actual Mac Mini itself.
Yeah.
What makes this thing so special? I mean, first of all, the size.
It's tiny.
It's unbelievably small.
It's 5-inch square footprint.
Yeah.
2 inches tall. I mean, you could put this thing in a large pocket.
Yeah, essentially you could. It's crazy.
It is amazingly compact.
And something else that I think people have been clamoring for.
Yes.
Finally, front-facing USB-C ports.
Finally. A headphone jack on the front.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a game changer.
It's such a small thing.
Yeah, but it makes all the difference.
In everyday use, you're not fumbling around the back.
For real. And then when we're talking about the M4 Pro, we've got to talk about Thunderbolt 5 support.
Oh, yeah.
For those who maybe aren't familiar, what does that even mean?
So Thunderbolt 5, think of it as like a super highway for data.
Okay.
It allows for ludicrous speeds up to 120 gigabits per second.
Wow.
So you're talking moving massive files, no problem.
Connecting to high bandwidth devices, no lag whatsoever.
So for people working with large video files, photographers, that kind of thing.
Oh, this is huge for them.
Absolutely huge.
Absolutely. It speeds up their workflow significantly.
Along with those Thunderbolt 5 ports, you got the standard full-sized HDMI.
You got your Ethernet. Sadly, no SD card reader.
I don't know why they won't give us this.
It's a head scratcher.
It is a head scratcher, especially for creatives.
Especially, yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about who these Mac Minis are for.
Oh.
You got the base model M4. You got the M4 Pro.
So the base model, that seems to be perfect for, your everyday user, someone who's browsing the web, checking email, maybe doing some light work.
Yeah.
That seems to be the sweet spot for that one.
Yeah, good entry point into the ecosystem.
Exactly.
But the Pro version, this is where it gets interesting.
This is for your creatives, as Apple likes to call them.
Yeah, who are we talking about specifically here?
So think video editors working with 4K, maybe even 8K footage.
Okay.
You've got graphic designers creating, complex visual effects, music producers, working with audio.
Yeah.
A lot of developers, compiling huge amounts of code.
Yeah, people who need the extra horsepower.
That's who this is for.
So we talked price, we talked features. We kind of have an idea of who these are for.
Yeah.
But how does it actually perform?
Well, the sources that we've looked at, they actually got their hands on the M4 Pro.
Okay.
And they put it through its paces. And with 48 gigs of RAM, this thing scored 3,943 in Geekbench, 6 single-threaded tests.
Okay.
And then a whopping 22,850.
Wow.
In the multi-threaded test.
So for those of us who don't speak benchmark, what does that mean?
I mean, this thing is fast.
Okay.
It can chew through anything you throw at it.
Like, for example?
They were able to play Lies of P at 60 frames per second.
Wow.
At 1440p resolution, all the settings maxed out.
On a Mac Mini?
On a Mac Mini. They even got 4K at medium settings.
Yeah.
Although the frame rates hovered around 30 FPS there.
Still, that's impressive.
It's very impressive.
What about other tasks?
So they also did some AI testing with the Whisper transcription app.
Okay.
They fed it a 69-minute podcast, and this thing transcribed the entire thing in a little over 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Now, for comparison,
the
M4, the 14-inch MacBook Pro, took 3 minutes.
Right.
And the M3 14-inch MacBook Pro took 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Especially when you're talking about creative workflows and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Students, transcribing lectures, journalists.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Endless.
All right, so it's powerful, clearly.
Yeah.
But does it have any downsides?
So one thing they did mention is that fan noise.
Okay.
it can get a little noticeable under heavy workloads.
Really?
Apparently, there's a large intake fan that when it's going, it sounds like it's getting ready for takeoff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
And the power button.
Oh, yeah, the power button, it's on the bottom rear of the machine.
Awkward.
A little awkward.
Yeah.
You might find yourself doing some yoga trying to reach back there.
Noisy and a little inconvenient.
A little bit, yeah.
Anything else we should be aware of?
Well, we talked about that SD card reader.
Yeah.
Still missing.
Still missing in action.
And, of course, you got to watch out for those Apple upgrades.
Oh, yeah, always.
They'll get you.
So it's a trade-off, right?
It is. You get all this power, all this portability in this tiny little package, but
You got to pay to play.
essentially, yeah.
All right, so when can people actually get their hands on this thing?
So this review was published on November 7th.
Okay.
And they're referring to it as new.
So I'm assuming it's out now.
If you're in Canada or the U.S.,
Yeah.
head over to the Apple Store. I'm sure you can pick one up.
That's great news.
It is.
Let's recap here. On the plus side, we've got incredible performance with the M4 and the M4 Pro chips. Tiny, compact design, front-facing ports, and a relatively affordable price.
Oh, and you can't forget that Thunderbolt 5 support on the M4 Pro.
Oh, that's right. That's huge.
Yeah, super important.
So those are all the good things.
Yeah.
But let's not forget,
On the other side.
there are some downsides here.
Yeah, that fan noise.
Yeah.
Potentially that awkward power button placement.
Mm-hmm.
And still no SD card reader.
And of course,
Upgrades.
the price of those upgrades. So it's
Yeah.
all about weighing those, right?
Absolutely. It depends on your needs.
Figuring out if this is the right machine for you.
Exactly.
But I think it's safe to say
yeah,
Apple has another winner here.
I think so. They've hit a really nice sweet spot.
It's pretty incredible what they've managed to do.
It is.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I
Yeah,
want to leave you with something to think about.
of course.
You've talked about all the specs, the features, but the bigger picture here is Apple Silicon.
Yes.
This is really a game changer.
It is. It's been pushing the boundaries of performance and efficiency
Yeah.
since it came out.
And the M4 and the M4 Pro in this Mac Mini, these are just,
Proof.
further proof of that.
Yeah.
So the question is, with Apple Silicon doing what it's doing,
Right.
is the Mac Mini not just a great computer for right now, but a future-proof investment?
That's the question.
That's what we want you to think about.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll continue this deep dive
Sounds good.
into the 2024 Mac Mini.
Can't wait. Welcome back to the deep dive, everybody.
We are still swimming around in that new Mac Mini.
We are. There's a lot to talk about here.
There is. We covered a lot in that first part,
Yeah.
talking about that price to performance, the compact design, the ports on the front.
That's right. Fine.
But we also talked about,
Yeah.
some of the downsides.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of SD card reader, the fan noise, potentially.
Naturally, yeah.
So one question that comes to mind,
Right.
can this thing, as powerful as it is,
Yeah.
actually replace a full desktop workstation?
I think for a lot of creatives, the answer is yes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the performance on that M4 Pro chip, it rivals, honestly, a lot of the high-end desktop PCs out there.
It's crazy.
And you got to think about, the size for people who work in, smaller studios.
Yeah, limited space.
Shared spaces, yeah.
Plus, let's be honest, it's way more affordable
Oh, absolutely.
than a fully decked out Mac Studio.
Way more, yeah.
But there are a few things to consider,
Oh,
right? If you need a ton of RAM,
right. If you're doing, some really intense work,
yeah, you're going to be spending a lot of money.
those upgrades, yeah, they get pricey quickly.
Apple gonna Apple?
Exactly.
What about that fan noise, though?
Yeah, that is something to think about, especially if you're working in, like a recording
Or
studio.
you just like a quiet space?
Or you just want peace and quiet.
Yeah, that could be a deal breaker.
It could be, yeah.
So it's all about like
Finding that balance.
balancing those,
Yeah.
the power, the
Yeah.
portability
Mm-hmm.
versus those potential downsides.
Exactly.
But let's talk more about those benchmarks.
Okay.
We threw out those numbers.
Yeah.
They sounded impressive.
They were very impressive.
But, what do they actually mean?
What do they mean in real-world use, right?
Yeah, for those creative workflows.
Okay, so let's take video editing.
Okay.
Okay, the M4 Pro, it's got that powerful GPU, the multi-core processing.
Yeah.
So you're talking about smooth, efficient editing of high-res footage.
Okay.
Rendering times are going to be significantly faster.
Wow.
You're going to experience fewer hiccups, slowdowns.
Even with those big projects.
Even with really complex projects.
So it's a big upgrade for video editors.
Oh, absolutely.
What about other creative fields?
Same thing applies, honestly, across the board. Graphic design, music production, software development.
Wow.
It's faster rendering times, smoother workflows.
Yeah.
You can handle those really demanding tasks without breaking a sweat.
I gotta say, that AI stuff,
Yeah.
that whisper transcription, that blew my mind.
It's incredible. It really highlights the potential of Apple Silicon.
Yeah.
It's changing how we work, how we interact with technology.
Imagine real-time transcription.
Interviews, lectures.
Meetings. Yeah. It's game-changing.
Absolutely. For productivity, accessibility.
And that's just transcription. Image recognition.
Natural language processing.
Machine learning.
Voila.
The possibilities. I mean, it's really incredible.
The Apple Silicon is evolving so rapidly. It's exciting to see what's coming next.
So this Mac Mini, it's small.
Tiny.
But it's like a peek into the future.
Yeah, it's almost like having a supercomputer on your desk.
Speaking of desks,
yeah,
this thing is so small.
It really is.
It's unbelievable how much power they fit in there.
It's a testament to Apple's design.
Yeah.
They created something powerful and incredibly portable.
Take it with you.
Yeah.
Or tuck it away.
Exactly.
And those front-facing ports.
Game changer.
Make life so much easier.
Yeah, it enhances the user experience.
Yeah, but we got to remember.
Of course.
This thing isn't perfect.
It's not, yeah.
We talked about the downsides.
Yeah.
People need to weigh those carefully.
Absolutely.
Before they jump in.
It's about finding the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
All right.
But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's safe to say this new Mac Mini.
It's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Powerful, versatile, compact.
Yeah.
It's got the potential to change how we work, how we create.
So you ready to wrap this whole thing up?
Let's do it. What are your final thoughts?
So we spent a lot of time with this new Mac Mini.
We have. We've gone over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Price, features, performance, good, bad.
The good, the bad, the potentially loud.
What's the verdict?
I think Apple has a winner on its hands. I really do.
Yeah.
They've managed to pack so much power and versatility into this tiny little box.
It's crazy how small it is.
It is, and the starting price is actually pretty reasonable.
And to think it can compete with those big desktop PCs out there.
It really can.
It's all thanks to that Apple Silicon.
And that brings us back to that question we asked earlier.
Yeah, about the future.
Is this a future-proof investment?
That's the tough one, right?
It is. Technology changes so fast.
That's impossible to predict.
It is, but here's the thing.
Right.
Apple Silicon, it's just consistently exceeded expectations.
In terms of performance.
Efficiency, both.
Every new chip that comes out.
It's a leap forward every single time.
Like with the M4 and M4 Pro.
Exactly. Those are powerful chips, but they're also really efficient.
Especially compared to those old Intel chips.
Yeah, night and day.
So while we can't see the future,
right,
it's probably safe to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Apple Silicon is going to be around for a while.
It's going to be leading the charge for a long time.
So anyone buying this Mac Mini now, they're not just buying a computer, they're buying into a whole platform.
A platform with a future, yeah.
Even with those downsides we talked about.
The upgrades, the fan noise.
It's still a pretty good deal.
I think so. The overall package is very compelling.
Especially for those creative folks.
Absolutely. If you need power, portability, and you don't want to spend a fortune.
This is it.
It might be the one.
So what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember about this new Mac Mini?
Don't let the size fool you.
Okay.
This thing is a beast. It's a powerhouse.
It really is.
And it represents a real step forward in technology.
So it's a powerful tool for today.
And a smart investment for tomorrow.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive.
Oh, guys.
Into the 2024 Mac Mini.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
We hope you learned something.
And we encourage you to keep exploring.
Yeah. Keep asking those questions.
Do your own research.
Form your own opinions.
That's what the deep dive is all about.
Until next time, everybody. Keep diving deep.
Keep learning.